Hey, I'm Michael Eckstein, and if everything goes well during editing, this video will also be on YouTube. There might be a link in the comments, or maybe not. We'll find out together. Before we get started, though, this video is based on a prior email, just like all the other videos, except some things have changed since this first email came out. Originally, this email was about SMART goals and how you can make better goals, and since then, I wrote another email about how I like to switch from goals to the phrase desired outcomes. So if you're reading the newsletter like you should be, link in the comments, subscribe, that sort of thing, then it's going to seem a little bit weird. But I'm going to keep it faithful to the original email just so I don't have any of those people who are like, oh, the book was better, complaining in the comments, right? So we're going to keep it faithful. The problem with goals is they're a little unrealistic. Just inherently, goals are unrealistic. And you have to do something to make it realistic. And there's a few different frameworks you can use. There's OKRs, which is objectives and key results, I think. I don't know. I'll use that one. And then there's SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Right. And these two frameworks, the first of which I probably butchered, the second I didn't, are used to make goals much more realistic and much more meaningful for your business. To me, though, the most important part of the SMART framework is first the measurable part. Inherently, goals aren't really measurable. They just never really seem to be. The goal is always something, a bit of a dream. I want to make more money in my business. How do you measure more money in your business? Right. And those kind of infinite goals have two problems. One, you can't really create stepping stones to an infinite goal, right? How do you get to more money in your business? Now, if the goal was, I want to make $10,000 or an additional $10,000, I can create stepping stones there. We could say $10,000 comes from X number of clients. X number of clients comes from Y number of discovery calls. Y number of discovery calls comes from Z number of leads. And these are the marketing efforts that have to go into getting that number of leads. So you can take a finite goal and work your way back to what you got to do to make it happen. You can't do that with an infinite goal, right? And the second problem with an infinite goal is if by some miracle you do make it happen, you'll never really get there, right? If my goal is to make more money in my business and I'm making an extra $10,000, that's great. I made more money, but there's always more money to make. I could have made $15,000 or $20,000. And now if I did make $20,000, I could have made 50. I could have made 100. The goal is infinite. You'll never hit it. And on one hand, an extra $10,000 is nice. Everyone likes that. But there does come a certain disappointment when you can't hit your goals, right? So it is important for it to be measurable. And then on top of it being finite, it has to be attainably finite, right? You have to be able to achieve it within the confines of our reality, right? A lot of people like making big, hairy, audacious goals. Sometimes you'll see it abbreviated as BHAG. And there's a place for those. Those are your long-term stretch goals, but not for the short and interim, not for, the next few months, the next quarter, the next year, right? Because those goals aren't necessarily meant to be reached. They are shooting for the moon, quite literally. But the thing is, when NASA shot for the moon, they still had attainable goals along the way. They had stepping stones. They had small pieces of the puzzle that had to happen before they shot for the moon. If you just straight up go for it, you never really go for it. You never get there. They always say shoot for the moon, at least you'll land amongst the stars. That's a bunch of feel good BS, though. That's not how business works, right? Shoot for the moon, plan your way there, have your short and term goals. And once you have your goals kind of written out, you have to make sure you remember them. At least for me, I have a big problem with my goals being out of sight, out of mind. If I don't have them right in front of me, they disappear. So that's why I'll typically write my goals on sticky notes. And then I'll either stick it to my computer monitor or stick it to the computer itself somewhere. Sometimes you have a problem where you zone it out and you start ignoring it after a while, but at least it's there, right? Otherwise, the goal is just in the back of your head and you remember it every now and then and you go, oh crap, I should have made progress on that, but I didn't remember it, right? A few other things you could do is you could write it on index cards and prop it up right in front of your screen. These are my show notes, right? What I want to talk about here. Other people will put it as their phone background, right? So it's always there. You want to have it in front of you so you don't forget, right? And that's how you keep yourself accountable, but it's also good to have someone else keep yourself accountable or help keep you accountable. Someone that can kind of check in once a week and say, are you making progress on this? That's why I like keeping or making accountability a part of my consulting engagements, because you set your goals one day and you have the best intentions, but things come up, right? Life things, business things, fires that have to be put out, things come up. And it just kind of falls by the wayside. And accountability helps keep you on track. One thing though, I would not recommend having your accountability partner be a romantic partner, like a spouse, significant other, right? You don't need to bring other potential problems into your relationship. Your accountability partner should be someone that if everything goes wrong, worst case, you cannot talk to them for 6 months to a year. If tempers flare up, if things get, heated. So don't make it people that you have to talk to, right? Don't make it your parents. Don't make it your romantic partners. Don't make it your business partners. Don't make it anyone that you have to talk to next week, or else things kind of fall apart, right? Pick someone else. And then the last thing is, once everything's kind of set up and everything's written out, make sure the goal is actually a SMART goal, right? There's the 5 parts of the framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Personally, I always forget time bound. I always forget to put a deadline on it. And it's not really a SMART goal. And the framework doesn't really work if you don't use the entire framework, right? Double check the goal. Make sure it is a SMART goal. And then proceed from there. Make it happen, right? So if you have any SMART goals you want to be held accountable on, drop them in the comments, right? Either LinkedIn comments or YouTube comments, huh? And I'll check in, right? And if you like this video, remember, this is based on an email that I sent to my newsletter, just like all the other videos, right? By now, you should probably have joined the newsletter. I don't know why you haven't, because you're missing out on all sorts of things. Like, you're learning about SMART goals today, where the newsletter learned about the new thing, desired outcomes, which is frankly much better in every way, shape, and form than SMART goals. But you're not going to find out for like another year, because I have to go through all the other emails to get there. That sucks, right? So, link in the comments or on YouTube, link in the description. I should probably film another outro, but I probably won't, right? We're just going to edit it, make it happen. This is the first one. And remember, until next time, don't commit tax fraud. All right? Bye bye now.